Happy harvest, everyone, and welcome to Alpha Omega Winery here in the beautiful Rutherford appellation of Napa Valley. I'm your virtual ambassador, Barrett Spiegel, and we are incredibly excited to taste and discuss our September Wine Club allocation with you all. This is a pretty amazing club release, everyone. We're featuring our 2017 Proprietary Red and our 2019 Cabernet Sauvignon from Alpha Omega. Two classic wines here at AO, and we're certainly grateful that you all are joining us and watching this video today. We also have an amazing food demonstration to pair with both of these wines. One of our favorite chefs is joining us again. So if you're at home watching this video, crack open a bottle of Alpha Omega, and we hope you enjoy our discussion today. Joining me here on our crush pad, once again, we have Alpha Omega winemaker Matt Brain.
Barrett, great to be here.
Great to have you, Matt.
It was almost like the crowd was with the sizzling.
I heard
Did you hear
actually.
that?
I heard it.
It was
all
me, but I
planned.
thought it was a crowd.
It was all planned.
Yes. Yes.
Did we get that?
That's a sizzle reel.
Yeah. We are very excited here at Alpha Omega today. Joining us always is assistant winemaker Melissa Paris, everyone.
Hi, friends.
There we go. There we go. Lovely. Thank you guys for taking the time during a busy harvest season here. It's September. We're rocking and rolling.
Yeah, it's really the calm before the storm. We're getting ready to bring our first fruit in for the year. So what a great time to sit down and discuss these two fantastic wine club offerings.
Looking forward to it. Looking forward to it. But first and foremost, we have to introduce our special guest, Chef Jesse McQuarrie, is already sizzling back here behind us. Chef Jesse, smells amazing already. What do we have going on today?
Thanks, buddy. We have got a ribeye steak that's been seared with garden vegetables and heirloom tomatoes. It's a simple dish that you can make at home. 4 to 5 ingredients, take about 20 minutes to put together, but it's just the epitome of summer and freshness, and it's going to pair wonderfully with these wines.
Yeah, you know, in my mind, we've got some complementary flavors here, and we've got some contrasting flavors here. We've got big, powerful flavors with the steak and the Cabernet and the red blend, but we've also got a nice contrast between the fattiness of the meat and the beautiful tannin structure of both of these reds. So yeah. I think this is going to be an incredible match. I think they're going to really complement each other nicely. All these fresh vegetables to bring in the summer theme, and really looking forward to how this comes around, Chef.
As am I. We're going to quickly sear the vegetables. We've got corn, we've got red onions, fresh tomatoes, zucchini. The acidity from the tomato salad with the grilled vegetables, I think it's going to be great.
It smells amazing already. The ingredients, the sizzling meat. Can't wait to check in with you in just a couple minutes and see how things are coming, Chef.
I'll be here.
Thank you.
Wow. Wow. One more wow. Can't wait for this. I think a lot of our wine club members and Alpha Omega lovers are going to be very excited to see the final results of this food demonstration with Chef Jesse. But hey, let's get right into this. I mean, these are two of the original wines here at Alpha Omega, Matt and Melissa. And let's start off with a library release of our Proprietary Red 2017 vintage.
Always fun to be able to go back into the library, folks. We don't have the opportunity to do it very often. You know, we sell out of most of these wines very quickly, but to go back and release a 17 is such a treat. And as we're seeing here today, this wine is both aromatic, really lifted, tons of character, but it's still very, very fresh and a lot of structure. So kind of the best of both worlds here. A wine that's opening up aromatically, but still has a lot of firm tension on the palate for me.
Yeah, and we'll dive into the next wine a little bit, but I was actually kind of wondering how these were going to pair back to back when they opened up today, but I'm really, really excited that the 17 is showing as well and as lovely as we hoped it would, you know. Matt and I always get a little nervous when we get into our library wines because 2017, we weren't here yet, so we always learn a lot about our wines in the library, and which just helps us kind of traject into the future. But this 2017, oh my goodness, the black cherry coming off, everything's just really singing to me in the nose. Incredible
fruit, a great blend here, folks. You know, it's Cab dominant. We're at 79% Cabernet Sauvignon. We're at 10% Merlot in this blend. 7 Cab Franc and 4% Petit Verdot. And what I love is there's a beautiful expression of red fruit, but also beautiful blue and black fruit here. It's really, really a complete wine. smooth and silky on the palate, showing really well right now.
Yeah, and the other thing that I thought was really interesting is I'm just kind of looking over the tech sheet. You know, obviously we know in our prop blends that we like to use all of Napa Valley. We're all over. We're sourcing from all the different areas, all the different AVAs. But one of them that's kind of jumping out to me was pre-us, was over in Howell Mountain, that they used a vineyard source in there. So that's kind of fun for us to look at.
Yeah, not a lot of our blends contain Howell Mountain. It's an area that we've obviously got our sights on, and when that opportunity opens up, trust me, we'll jump into it. But fun to have a little Howell Mountain in the blend.
Yeah.
A lot of Cortez vineyard here, so a lot of Atlas Peak here. Get some really nice kind of black soil expression coming from Cortez, I think. And yeah, a beautiful blend. We've got some cooler climate stuff here. A little bit of Keller fruit from Coombsville. A little bit of Merlot from our favorite Newton up in Spring Mountain. Yeah, just a beautiful blend. And as great as both of these wines are showing, I think when we move to the 19 Cabernet, we can see that we're tightening up a little bit, moving into a little bit more of a youthful wine. But man, a powerful expression of Cabernet, and so correct in that it's very bright red fruit, firm tannin structure, and I really am very excited about this 19 Cabernet for those of you out there that haven't tasted it yet.
Yeah, this is one of those wines, this 2017 Proprietary, that just, it jumps, to your point, jumps out of the glass.
Yeah.
Aromatics are insane on this.
Yeah.
And you can understand why when you look at vineyards like Cortez and Stagecoach. These are some of our best single vineyard sites now at Alpha Omega.
Right.
And some of that fruit has gone into this wine.
That's true. And you know, Barrett, for someone who doesn't necessarily love to put the wines down for years and years, this is the result of 2 years of fantastic aging. This aromatic lift. This is what you get, folks, when you cellar your wines really well. You just get amplified aromatic expression, and I think that's what we're seeing here today.
Yeah, and another little good point to hit on, and we've talked about it before in our Live at Fives and stuff, but I mean, these library releases, we love that we can pull them out of perfect cellar aging conditions and bring them to you. So that's a really, really fun treat as well.
Yeah, yeah. Major benefit of being a club member here at Alpha Omega, we're releasing a lot of library wines. In July, we re-released our 2016 Cabernet Sauvignon, which is showing incredibly well also. But the 17s are nice and silky at such a young age. They're not lasting long in my cellar, for sure.
Yeah, going down really, really smooth. Like Matt was talking about, that tannin, that backbone is there with the Cabernet, but it's just at that really nice ripeness right now where the acid's not peaking too much. You know, the finish is a medium to long. It's really staying nicely in my mouth, and I'm still getting a lot of really great fruit expression. So.
Yeah, you know, I think really nicely aging wine to me at some point starts to show a little bit more earth component, where it came from, the soil in which the grapes were grown. And then later on, I think you get a little bit of herb and spice kind of comes in later. I think that this wine is in that point where the earth component is really showing, and I don't think we're all the way into those herbs and spices yet, but you know they're coming, and the complexity is building. Yeah. That's why we age wines, Barrett. It makes them so fun, so complex, and so aromatic.
Hey, to each his own. Life is short, drink the wine.
Yes.
You don't want to die with it in the cellar, that's all I got to say.
That's true.
But hey, the combination of what I'm smelling back here and what I'm smelling in these glasses, I cannot wait to taste what's going on.
I was going to say that too, because you know, when you've got food aromatics, it changes the nature of the aromatics in the glass. It amplifies things, it complements things. And to me, this, you can smell the fat sizzling back here. And to me, it actually amplifies the fruit, the earth, and it brings different things out of the glass. That's why wine is so fun at the dinner table, because different things happen as you're tasting and as you're eating. And I'll tell you folks, with these aromas behind it, it's happening right now.
It's happening. Cannot wait to check in with Chef Jesse here in a bit. The 2017 Proprietary Red, folks, club members and non-club members that have luckily stumbled upon this video, all I got to say is when you get this, you're welcome. This wine's delicious. I say drink now, but still has time in the cellar. Plenty of time, probably.
Agreed. Plenty of time, but really tasting great right now. Smooth, silky, aromatic, really hitting its stride, hitting its sweet spot.
There we go. Excellent. Well, we've got another amazing wine here to feature, and this is honestly one of my favorite wines at Alpha Omega. It's our classic Cabernet Sauvignon. This is the 2019 vintage, brand new release here, and very excited about this wine. Matt, Melissa, when you try to make this wine every year and you think about all the amazing fruit that goes into it, what are you trying to convey in this 2019 Cabernet?
Good question.
You know, for me, I always like to talk about our Napa Valley Cab as being such a great snapshot of what Cabernet did across the valley that year. And folks, that's because we source our fruit from so many different locations, from the mountaintops to the valley floors, north to south, that we really get an expression of the vintage in this wine. And for me, the 2019 growing vintage was actually largely a cooler vintage, you know, cool to moderate vintage. I think that's definitely shaping the bright aromatics and kind of bright acidity in this wine. It's very balanced, it's very bright, it's very lively. But we had a nice long growing year with some beautiful heat spikes later in the year that drove the red fruit in and gave us some last minute ripening.
Right.
So for me, there's some beautiful black fruit here as well. There's a richness that is, to me, kind of implies perfect ripening. I think that this vintage, the vines, gave us an incredible product. We were able to get the fruit off the vines at the perfect timing. And it's very, very Cabernet, and it's still youthful. It's still tight. It's still kind of dark and brooding, but the fruit is softening and the aromatics are lifting, and I think it's a great spot, folks, for you to try out a young 19 or just trust us that a couple of years down the line, this wine is really going to be singing.
Yeah, and talking about it being just, you know, such an expression of Cabernet, it's 95% Cabernet, friends. It's not like we took it to those legal limits that we had to comply with. I mean, this is a Cabernet Sauvignon. This wine also kind of represents, I guess, kind of in a weird way, our kind of maiden voyage here at Alpha Omega. I mean, Matt and I had a huge hand in the final blending stages of this wine, and as fun and, you know, tedious that was, it was also a little bit kind of, I don't know, complex and a little perplexing to us, because we really wanted to make sure that, like Matt was just saying, that we were paying an homage to all of Napa Valley, and I think that we did a great job with this 19. I'm really proud of it.
You know, when you get a cooler vintage, folks, you tend to get a little bit more red fruit, pure red fruit, and definitely a harder tannin profile. So, you know, looking at previous vintages, Paris and I were really able to see that, you know what, we were just a little more red and a little more lean and angular with the tannins than typical. And we found that the softness and the blueness of the Malbec definitely immediately worked to bring us back into that classic AO style. You know, we're always looking to express Cabernet, but we're also always looking to pay homage to the cabs that have come before. And this was our way to tweak it in just small ways to present that Cabernet kind of in its best.
Yeah, and friends at home, if you're one of those people that says, you know, they always talk about red fruit, blue fruit, black fruit. What does that even mean? This is it. This is the glass where you get a little bit of everything in there. So if you've ever thought, man, I kind of get the fruit expression, but I don't really understand how that applies and what my sensory can do with that, this would be the glass where you kind of explore it. It's got all that in it. The red, the blue, the black. It's got a little bit of everything.
Yeah, it's Malbec and Petit Verdot are the blenders here. 2% Petit Verdot.
Matt, I mean, you look at the color on this. I mean, this might be the most inviting wine I've ever seen color-wise. I mean, that you can see what the Malbec and the Petit Verdot did to the Cabernet Sauvignon.
Yes.
And then when you put it on the palate, you're like, okay, there we go. Alpha Omega, open top barrel fermentation. This wine is delicious.
I was just going to say,
now.
Let's not forget to mention that this wine was 50% barrel fermented. So that also really drives home that structure, that accessibility early, that really, really nice round, smooth, and just kind of, I don't know, pays homage to all of the things that we were trying to do.
Absolutely. You know, and when you receive this wine, folks, and you look at it in the glass, you see the saturation. You know, one of our challenges as winemakers is not to just get the materials out of the grapes, the tannin, the flavors, the colors, but to hold it, to make sure it's stable in the wine and that it stays soluble. So our techniques that we use post-fermentation, a lot of them are oriented towards making sure that the wine has as much flavor as we can put in there. And you look in this wine, you can tell it's fully saturated. Now, when you've got a wine that is this dark in color, you actually start to get a tiny hint of sweetness from the color molecules themselves. Anthocyanin, that color has a bit of sweetness, and that balances the amount of tannin in the wine. And I think this is just a great example where it's so ram-packed, it's so saturated that you get a beautiful flow across the palate, and the sweetness of the color molecules, the anthocyanin, balances with the bitterness of the tannin and just creates a really nice synergy on the palate.
Very nicely said, Matt.
Oh my gosh. I mean, here's what I would do. When I get these two wines in my club allocation here, I'm going to crack them both open. I'm going to prepare whatever Chef Jesse's preparing that we're going to check in a second, and I'm going to dive into both of these. The color between the two is just incredible, and both delicious wines. The Proprietary Red 2017 library release, and then our classic Cabernet Sauvignon 2019. You guys killed it on that wine. delicious.
Thank you.
Nice
wine is
1-2
unbelievable.
punch here, folks.
Yeah, this is a good one too.
Yeah.
This is a good one too. So, speaking of 1-2, let's check out on the 3 here.
You know, the sizzling's calmed down, but the aromatics have not.
It's hot
They're
back
still
here.
there. They're
Chef, what have
still
we
there.
got? Right? Chef.
Oh, we are cooking up a storm.
Oh man, as I walk close, these aromas back here are killer. Tell us what we've got going on.
We've got a grilled ribeye steak, which I've cooked for about 5 minutes on each side to get a nice medium rare.
Yep.
I seared it for these purposes, but you can throw it on the grill. But it's about the same timing, a nice medium hot grill. Well, about 5 minutes on each side.
5, yep.
Yep. I've pan-seared this and gotten a beautiful crust on it. I don't know if you can see this, but I've quickly sautéed some vegetables. They just finished. In the pan, I've got onions, a smidge of garlic, a little bit of zucchini, summer squash. I had some pole beans from the garden, so I threw those in, and some fresh corn. That's going to kind of top the steak. What I've done first is cut some heirloom tomatoes, both baby and regular size.
Beautiful colors here.
I've marinated those in some olive oil, some lime juice, and the drippings from the pan. It makes a beautiful savory kind of vinaigrette for the tomatoes. So it's a great base. It's going to play off the wines really well. So now I've got this beautifully seared steak, and I'm going to cut it against the grain.
Right.
So against the grain, you just look at the striations in the beef, and whichever directions the lines are going, cut against those. So this steak will actually serve 2 to 3 people. This is about a 12-ounce steak. So as you can see, beautifully cooked.
Beautiful cook on that, Chef.
Yeah.
Have you got any other tips for our home chefs about the perfect cook on that steak?
It's just, it's really practice as far as feeling it. But, you know, you're really not going to go wrong. I literally cooked this for 5 minutes on each side. Start out with whole butter, melt that, let it get a little bit of color, in a hot pan. Heat your pan at first. Add the butter, a little bit of olive oil. That'll cool the butter down a little bit so it doesn't completely burn. You'll get a nice brown butter going. Throw your steak in and just let it ride. Do not move the steak for a good 3-4 minutes.
Okay.
You can kind of lift it up and check it, but you want to sit in the pan and get that nice sear. Okay. And then flip it over and repeat the same process. Okay, so I've got this beautiful kind of ragu, right? We're gonna spoon this right on top. I love this dish.
Chef, I love the vegetables. I love the presentation. It really brings kind of a lighter, more summer-oriented kind of
exactly what we had in
flavor
mind.
profile here, right, to our heavier steak.
Yes, and then I've got some fresh basil here, and I like to be super rustic with this. I'm literally just, instead of hacking the basil up with a knife, I'm literally just going to do some torn basil over the top. Just kind of show the bounty of the garden. We're blessed here in wine country to have so much great produce.
We sure are.
So this is all fresh from local gardens, local growers, local beef, but classic, simple. I think you're really going to enjoy it. It takes 15-20 minutes to put together, and you're golden.
Beautiful summertime meal that matches well with Cabernet. Incredible colors, smells incredible, Chef. Amazing job.
Sir.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Amazing, amazing.
Unbelievable.
Oh, man.
I have to say, I think that's my last day on planet Earth food pairing right there.
That's your last meal there?
That's the meal?
Yes.
The last meal.
Yeah,
You
it's
can't
good
go
one.
wrong. And with these two wines.
With these 2 wines, the final wines.
Yeah.
You know, this is an incredible wine club allocation for September. Wine club members, I think, are going to be very excited about this
Absolutely.
allocation. And when you go to our website, aowinery.com, go to our wine club page, scroll to the bottom under wine club shipments and past releases. You'll see videos of all of these food demonstrations as well as links to the recipes that Chef Jesse has put together, and so much fun to enjoy these wines with an amazing dish.
Absolutely, folks. I think as you mentioned, Barrett, when you get these wines at home, you're going to be very excited about what we've done here. To be able to go back into the library, to check out our new releases, to check out a new recipe, and what an amazing flavor combination here.
Yep.
And what great recommendations to kind of start off your night. I mean, we've put all the thought into it for you. Grab the recipe, grab the wines, you're off to the races.
I mean, really and truly, if you want it, all you need is a cocktail to get it all going. And then you're good to go, right? I mean, yeah.
Okay.
We've done it all for you.
Barrett's
I like
going to
that.
produce a little side YouTube video for that one.
Check out Paris on
Don't
her
even
cocktail
tempt
recipe.
me. Don't threaten me with a good time.
That's the play. Get your wine club shipment. Check in on the recipe that Chef Jesse will put on the website. watch the video, open them both, because it's really fun to go back and forth with these two wines.
Let them get started. Let them
and then realize, hey, I need to buy some more, and reach back out to us at aowinery.com and purchase more of these wines. They are delicious. The classics, 2017 Proprietary Red and our 2019 Cabernet Sauvignon.
Beautiful wines.
This is it. I think every club video that we do, I say, I think this is my favorite club shipment.
I know.
I'm going to say it again. I think this is my favorite club shipment. It's ridiculous.
Really an amazing combination. I think that it's just we get so excited about these new releases, they kind of displace what we did before. Very exciting combination, very exciting recipe, and a great taping here. Great job, Barrett.
Excellent. Wine Club members, get very excited for these two wines. If you're not in our club, we would love to have you. We release some incredible wines here at Alpha Omega. Library releases, new releases coming on the pipeline here later this year. So a lot to be excited about at Alpha Omega. Go to our website, aowinery.com. Click on the Wine Club tab at the top and join. Some incredible selections there for you all. A couple other things to mention before we leave it with our friends here. We've got events coming up during the harvest season.
That'll be a lot of fun. I mean, the word's out. This is where you want to be for events, right? Like,
exactly.
You want to be with us. You want to be drinking our wine, hanging out with us.
Exactly.
Dead center in the heart of Napa Valley.
That's right.
Exactly, Chef.
It's all good. It's all good. So go to our website, aowinery.com, under the events tab. See the list of events that we have planned for the rest of the year. We would love to have you. And just an absolute blast sharing these wines with you all. Matt Brain, winemaker, thanks for taking the time. I mean, you guys are rocking and rolling.
Fun as always.
Yeah. Melissa Paris, appreciate it.
No problem.
You're
Love doing it. Love doing it.
And a special guest chef, very special, Chef Jesse McQuarrie.
Amazing
dish.
Cheers, Chef.
My pleasure.
Chef.
Amazing as always.
Cheers.
Lovely.
All right, everyone, take care. We'll see you again soon. Cheers.